Welcome to Troy at Garris Horn. This is the mortgage banking live stream. Why are we doing this? We're doing this for three reasons: to educate. This is not law. This is not advertising. This is just information. We're doing it to connect you with ideas and people, connect you with lots of different things that you might not be able to get, especially in these times. And we're here to entertain. We're going to have fun. We're going to provide this in an efficient but fun and enjoyable format, something that will stick with you so that you can keep this information with you. It's a live stream. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to have some fun with it. We're going to get you a lot of information that you need to know. Call me if you have any questions or comments. Email me. You can reach me at 301-461-8952. You can email me at troy@garrishorn.com. In either way, I'll get your feedback, your comments, and we will answer your questions. You can also text me at that same number, 301-461-8952. Before we get started, a couple shout outs. We had an incredible opportunity here just recently. We had Mortgage 2020. I don't know if you guys were able to attend Mortgage 2020, but I'll tell you, Mortgage 2020 was, hats off, an amazing event. We had so many people that were willing to come out to help, to participate, to get information to people. It was an amazing turnout. We had nearly 500 people that registered to attend. We had some amazing speakers. I can't even count the numbers of speakers, and some amazing people. Some people that I want to give special thoughts to. First of all, my partners at First Line Compliance, Josh Weinberg, Roger Findelman, Ray Snitshovel. Those guys over there, they were fantastic. They created one of the best conferences that I have ever attended. Similarly, Knowledge Coop, it was a joint venture between First Line, Knowledge Coop, and Shred Media. Ken Perry and your team, guys, you were fantastic. And then Shred Media, Josh Pitts over at Shred Media, my first chance to work with this young gentleman. Just an awesome producer and provider of information and connector of people, especially in the mortgage brokerage industry, but he spans way more than that. You should check both those guys out, Knowledge Coop and Shred Media, and also, of course, First Line Compliance. Speakers, let's talk about some of those speakers. The speakers on this, I couldn't have asked for a better turnout and more impactful, more better of a lineup of speakers than we had at Mortgage 2020. I mean, think of it. Brian Montgomery. Brian is a friend of the industry, of myself. He is always there. He gave a talk that was both helpful and impactful, but also talked about some of the times in his experience and how to rise up and provide leadership at a time when people really need it. Jeremy Wyndham from state of Alabama, very active in MMC, Multi-State Committee. Jeremy could not have been more gracious with his time and an amazing presenter, and gave lots of valuable information there. Tim Sanders, how can you get Tim Sanders? But we had Tim Sanders. Steve Sims of Blue Fishing, Vanita Sandhu of Life Labs Learning. The list just goes on and on. Dave Stevens, Rob Chrisman, David Licken, Michael Lau Pingora, Brian Stevens of National Real Estate Post, my own partner at my law firm, Garris Horn, Rich Horn, Pam Jenkins, Rhiannon Bolin. It just, it just shows what being in this industry means to people, because you develop connections, you develop friendships. It's relationships that really can pull you through in times like this. And everybody pitched in, they pulled together, they gave some great information that just was needing to be out there. And they did a fantastic job. And also, I can't speak enough good words about the Mortgage Bankers Association, the National MBA. Our friends over there, Justin Wiseman, Sarah Singas, Mike Fratantoni, Bob Brooksman. The whole team over there is just amazing. And as you probably know, they are putting out day after day strong, powerful information that you need as a mortgage lender to be able to operate in this world. It's just an incredible organization, and I cannot tell you enough how much you need to support your MBA. Join the MBA, join MA, get active, get involved in all of the activities that they have, because that is the true leader in our industry in terms of getting our information, getting our message to the people, getting our message to Congress, to the president. There's no more impactful organization than the Mortgage Bankers Association, and they're especially appreciated and needed at this time. It is just a great organization. So also one other thing, I almost neglected to say this, but Mortgage 2020, part of that mission, as is part of the mission in all that we do, is to give back to the community. So part of that, part of the revenue from Mortgage 2020 was destined for and was earmarked for Opens Doors, which is a great organization that the MBA has put together, and does many great things in the world. Okay, we're going to get into our regular content here. Again, if you have questions, you have comments, you can call me 301-461-8952. You can email me, troy@garrishorn.com, or you can text me at that same number, again, 301-461-8952. So we're going to have a pretty short show today, but what I do want to tell you is that you really need, as a mortgage lender, you need to be focused on a couple of things. You know, a lot of people out there have started to believe over the past year or two that the regulators have sort of ramped down in their enforcement and their aggressiveness and their decision to pursue people when needed and to make sure that people are complying with the rules. And I know that in times like we just had, where it's been a fantastic, amazing mortgage business, and we've had so much volume, we've had so much opportunity, and people are so busy. I know that it's easy to try to ignore some of the regulations, and it's possible that people say, you know, I just have too much going on. I have to focus on business. I don't really have time to try to keep up with all that's going on in regulations. But I'll tell you, there's some developments that you really need to pay attention to. And so, for example, and this is just in the very recent, but just within the past week. So I don't know if you guys saw it, but an enforcement action, a settlement agreement came out with a very big lender, with the Department of Justice. This is based on False Claims Act violations, allegations only. It's a settlement agreement, and like I tell people all the time, what you read in settlement agreement is one side's belief or allegation of what happened, but it's certainly not necessarily what actually happened. Nevertheless, this is a big number. $15 million settlement with Department of Justice just came out. And the core allegations in this settlement, again, False Claims Act, right? So this is somebody making a claim for, in this case, FHA insurance benefits in connection with mortgage lending. So here, listen to these allegations. I went on to I read the Department of Justice press release, but then I went on and I got the actual documents for the case itself, so I could read the actual settlement agreement itself. I can send that stuff to you if you want. Just email me, Troy@GarrisHorn. I can send you that information if you want. And actually, it would be a good idea if you want to take a look at these, especially these core allegations, to make sure that you're not in violation or you don't have these types of things going on in your businesses, because this is the kind of thing that can get you into a lot of trouble. So core allegations, not all FHA and VA requirements, underwriting requirements were met. So that's one of the allegations. So you didn't meet all of the, you could have met a lot of them. You could have met a lot of them in or even all of them in most of your loans, but not in all loans did you meet all of the underwriting requirements for FHA or VA loan, either an FHA insurance or VA guarantee. There were failures, according to the allegations, to self-report violations. So the failure to report yourself was one of the allegations that was in this, that constituted the basis of this settlement. Another one, this comes up from time to time. People that I talk with in conferences, people that I talk with elsewhere, they raise the question of, can we give commissions, can we give incentives to our underwriters when they're closing loans? And the general answer is no. It's more complicated than that, but the general answer is no. And so this is one of the allegations, that there were gifts or commissions to underwriters in connection with these loans. And keep in mind that these allegations went all the way back to 2008. So this is old types of practices that even in the settlement agreement itself, and even in the press release, it talks about many of these alleged violations already being corrected. So that was one of them. There was an allegation that the company was keeping a separate file that was marked for documentation that wasn't necessarily relevant to the underwriting of the loans. But the allegations are some of the information there was in fact relevant to the underwriting. And so this was part of the allegations, that it's kind of like this secret file that they were, the allegations suggest that maybe some information was not getting through that needed to get through, seems to be what that part of that allegation is. And then there were also allegations that sometimes, again, this practice goes way back, sometimes there were files where the underwriters were reassigned and or the management signed off on exceptions to underwriting. And again, reading between the lines, the allegations seem to be that people were pushing through loans that shouldn't have been pushed through, and loans got approved that shouldn't have gotten approved because they normally would have failed if the lender had followed the regular underwriting guidelines. So this is an area, it's long been a focus. False Claims Act has long been a focus. It's one of the areas that lenders sometimes face when these types of cases come around. Lenders sometimes do face fairly big allegations of liability to the government. The government, as you know, has a very large cadre of lawyers that can work on cases for a long, long time. And so a lot of people will just settle because it just costs too much to actually go to court and get to a case, to a determination on the merits. It's just too expensive. And so a lot of people will decide that it's in their better interest to just go ahead and settle, not to admit liability like this company did not. This company reserved a right to contest this in a future proceeding, if in fact that's ever necessary, but just effectively saying, it doesn't make sense to try to fund the litigation against the government in this kind of a case. So that's an area, again, False Claims Act. You need to be careful about this. The business you write today is the book of business that people are going to be reviewing in the future. Couple years down the road, a few years down the road, think of this. These allegations go all the way back to 2008. And so the book of business you're writing today, you very well could be talking to some regulator about this many, many years in the future. So that's one area. Another area that is of a heightened focus these days, again, people seem to think that the regulators have ramped down. I tell you, they have not. In my experience, the CFPB is heavily focused right now, based on what I'm hearing from people in the field. When I'm talking to people, I'm hearing that they're focused heavily on fair lending. They care deeply about fair lending, always have, and they continue to care about fair lending today. talking ACOA, we're talking HMDA. In addition, even some UDAP and even some, you can imagine, some concerns with regard to COVID-19 related items. So people that are asking for forbearances and the like, you can expect that to be an area of heavy focus, and making sure that servicing is not only is fair lending being complied with, but also call it fair servicing, where people are getting equal treatment. Nobody's getting left behind in that sense. Everybody's being treated the same. So you can imagine this is going to be an area of particular focus. I know that there are cases right now that the CFPB is focused on that are addressing fair lending, and people are talking, the agency is talking with lots of people about fair lending issues. So that's on the enforcement side. Let's talk a little bit about regulatory developments. We don't have time to go through it all today. This is going to be this is our maiden voyage, so it's going to be a fairly short mortgage banking presentation today. But on the regulatory development side, just one item I'll just talk about today, and we can talk about this later on in more detail. We'll go into some more detail of some other regulatory requirement updates. But District of Columbia, for people that are licensed and doing business in DC, as you know, there's a relatively new law, an emergency provision that was put in place in light of the pandemic, and the regulator there on May 4th. So just what is today? Today's the 6th. So a couple of days ago now, put out some FAQs and are requiring submission of information. For example, a deferral program application that borrowers can use, and also procedures for how the lender is going to approve or deny applications for deferrals, very much like a forbearance type of a program that we've already heard about in connection with government loans and Fannie and Freddie loans in the CARES Act. But this is directly from DC, specifically for DC securing properties, for loans secured by DC properties. And so DC wants there's a lot of requirements. You got to look at it again. If you want, just email me or shoot me a text or something. I can send you the document. But there are several different pieces to this requirement, but some of it, the application and the procedures, for example, are due May 8th. So this coming Friday, you need to have submitted that to the District of Columbia if you're licensed there, and if you're a mortgage lender. So, and when we say mortgage lender, we're not talking just the servicers. We're talking mortgage lenders, since if you make a loan or you are a servicer of a loan, either one, you're going to have to submit this information. May be that, in fact, for the originators, doesn't affect you all that much, in the sense that you may not have all that many loans that really are at risk of coming up on these reports or getting these applications for deferral. But nevertheless, you do need to comply with this submission requirement. I think there are some problems, some potential legal problems. I would not be surprised if somebody raises some of those legal issues, especially in the context of an enforcement action or some other action. But if you're a licensee there, at least at the moment, DC expects you to submit this information by this Friday. So I'm gonna leave on that note. Again, we'll have more information for you with regard to regulatory developments. We'll also have some more enforcement action updates coming up soon. We are doing this live stream. We're doing it Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. On Monday and Wednesday, this live stream will go live at 11 Central. I'm in Dallas, so I'm using Central Time, 11 a.m. Central Time, Mondays and Wednesdays. And then on Fridays, we're going to have a get-together. We'll have happy hours, and that's going to be at 5 p.m., again, Central Time. So you can figure out, depending on what part of the country you are, 5 p.m. Central Time on Fridays, we're just going to have a happy hour. It's going to be people from the industry or not from the industry. We'll bring in some interesting people, get together, we can chat, we can share information, we can make some friends. We can create some relationships, because that's what really this is about. It's about making and forming and developing and maintaining those relationships, because at the end of the day, that's what this really is about. And that's what people take away from this as meaningful. So hope you liked the live stream today. If you think it's worth it, if we've earned it, subscribe to this channel and join us at 5 p.m. this coming Friday. Josh Weinberg will be there from Guaranteed Rate and also from First Line. And we'll have a lot of other people. But feel free to shoot me a text, call me, or send me an email. Again, 301-461-8952 for a text or a call, or just email me, Troy@GarrisHorn. I'll shoot you over the link. You can join us for this happy hour. It's going to be low-key. It's casual. You don't have to worry about showing up with anything. It's just people from the industry getting together virtually and chatting a little bit, connecting, building some friendships. I'm Troy Garris, and that is the law. See you soon.